Everybody, it's John DePietro. And on Facebook, there's some very interesting people that you get to meet. And one of the coolest things is that you never know who you're going to meet. You never know where you're going to run into Worcester people, whether it be in Worcester or Las Vegas, Rome, Italy, or whatever the case. But we're doing a little bit of both right now because we are talking with the founder of a very popular Worcester Facebook group called Old School Worcester. And his name is Jeff. Should I call you Jeff or Jeffrey?
I go by Jeffrey.
Jeffrey Generelli, who's talking to us from right outside of Las Vegas today. Jeffrey, hey, welcome to your website, to your Facebook page.
Thanks.
So tell us a little bit about your background, where you grew up in Worcester, and how you got this idea of Old School Worcester.
Well, I grew up off of Grafton Hill, Pilgrim Ave, Dartmouth Street area, and but I also lived off Plantation Street when I was a little bit younger, and when I was in like the second grade, we moved to that area off of Pilgrim Ave, and I pretty much grew up there till I joined the Marines, and that was the last place we lived, and from there I spent 6 years in the Marine Corps. Then once I got out, I went back home and went to school in Quincy Community College, and then after graduating there in '95, I ended up moving back to where I was stationed, California, and spent a couple more years there, and then ended up going back to Massachusetts, where that's where I got my job at Table Talk Pies as a maintenance mechanic.
Oh, Table Talk.
And
yeah, they're in the news today because they're going to have to move the facility because of the new baseball. I don't know.
Yeah, I saw that.
When's the last time you physically been to Worcester?
I'd say 2 years ago.
Okay, 2 years ago. Yeah. So you haven't seen that whole area around Kelly Square, or?
No, I haven't. I haven't seen Kelly Square since I was home. But we tend to go back and do a lot of I do a lot of driving around to see what's changed every time I do go back.
I'll tell you, when you go to Kelly Square now, it's totally different. It's only like 2 or 3 streets that come into it because they merged a lot of the streets. They took Bilberry Street and made it going the other way toward Holy Cross instead of coming from Holy Cross, and took the other street down below it. I don't even know the name of it. But anyway, put it this way. Old School Worcester and New School Worcester are going to be 2 separate ball games because a lot of people are not going to recognize that whole area down there from, right around Table Talk. But
oh yeah, I'm sure there's going to be a lot of confused people.
Yeah, exactly. So what gave you the idea about starting Old School Worcester?
Well, so I left home basically at the age of 17, and I've gone back a couple of times. The last time I was living there was 2004. That was the last time I had moved out of Worcester. Was in 2004. So throughout the latter half of my life, I've always missed it. I've always missed home. I've always missed my family, my friends, and it's tough when you move around like I have, to make friends. And it's been a while since I've had some true friends, but every time I go home, I'm always running into someone that I haven't seen since second grade or sixth grade or grammar school, junior high, whatever it is. And you just kind of pick up where you've left off. And that to me is, after being away from home for a while, it's something special.
Kind of fascinating too.
So I associate that with home. And it was pretty much, well, I started the group a little over a year ago. It was in December. And as everybody knows, the whole political climate's changed and everything like that, and so is social media and Facebook and all that stuff, where it used to be, Facebook used to be like a pretty useful tool for staying in touch with people, and now it's kind of, well, I shouldn't say kind of, but it's really corrupt with a lot of junk that's on there.
Right.
And
yeah.
So you have something that's useful, and then it becomes junk, and it gets tiresome when you're trying to change it back to the way it was. So
the idea was, hey, let's go back to the old days, right?
Exactly. And, I'm always a fan of nostalgia, and, I think we all are, because life was, technically better for all of us,
Mhm.
back then. And now it's turning into this, what mutation of, whatever it is. And, people just kind of reminisce a lot more. At least I know I do. Um, but so I belong to a couple of Worcester groups. Some of them still exist, but I no longer, since I started this group, I no longer belong to any of them. I pour everything into this one because I think it's the best one. Um, but after being a part of those other groups, I saw with, again, it's mostly the political climate that kind of destroyed everything. But when politics gets involved with that, and then you see the way people, um, they become, I don't know, superheroes online. But if you met them in person, they'd probably cowered away from you or whatever. But I saw people being personally attacked, for whatever reason, and then labeled, and then you get, like, you I would see, when I saw people's livelihoods becoming threatened because of social media, when they really never did anything wrong. They just said like one thing, and then all of a sudden they get
Yeah.
labeled into something.
Yeah.
I just get tired of it. And it was really it was pretty much in December of last year, or I'm sorry, the year before, that I decided to start my own group. Now, I had no idea what my intentions would be. um, when I did this. I just
Yeah.
decided that, what,
Did
I'm
you?
just gonna start a group, about Worcester, and I'm gonna put some rules in there and invite some people that I know, and then it took off from there. And um, it's been pretty satisfying. We're pretty much right now almost eclipsing 15,000 members.
Right. Would you have ever thought that, just you and a few friends, that it would, they told two friends who told two friends who told two friends, that old TV commercial from years and years ago. Did you ever
Yeah.
think you'd be involved with 15,000 people at any one time?
No, I never expected, especially, in the first year, we were basically getting about 1,000 members a month.
No.
And it was crazy. It was exponentially crazy. But it was, the thing about it too is, I started with, like, pretty much my family members and close friends that I knew on Facebook, and then more people got added. And then, what I really enjoyed about it too was I'm starting to see people that I haven't been in touch with for a while, and it's like, oh, look at, there they are.
Yep.
Oh, I've been reconnected with quite a few people. Actually, I think about 2 weeks ago, I connected with a guy I haven't seen since. I mean, we used to play down at the bottom of Del Ave all the time, and we reconnected. I haven't seen him since basically grammar school. And come to find out, he actually joined the Marine Corps as well, and there was a lot of history there. So it
Oh,
was pretty
great.
cool to reconnect with him.
Yeah.
But there's always more people being introduced. And then not only that, but then I see people that are, like, distantly related to me, um, people that know people that I know that I never knew these people. And some pretty major contributors to this group. And I'll get into that a little bit later. But as far as the theme of the group and how it's gone, because it's changed from the beginning till now.
Yeah. So let me ask you this. Um, you said you belonged to some other groups before, but now you just do this because you put all your energy into this. How much time a week would you say, Jeffrey, that you put into moderating the group?
Uh, it's it's funny because the time difference kind of makes it challenging, because
Yeah, right, right.
um, I'm up, most likely I'll probably be up later than most people on the East Coast, because of the time difference. But then I'll wake up in the morning and I'll see, like, 5 or 6 reported content, things like that, that I have to take care of. Or there are some posts that get out there, and as much as I tell people just ignore it, I'll get to it, just report it and ignore it. You get people that just feel like they have to be the warriors on Facebook and defend it, and it's like, don't waste your energy. You know, that's one of the things about this group that's worked is, you know, let me handle it. Don't you guys waste your energy on it, because that's the type of stuff that I feel Facebook thrives on, is that battling back and forth.
The
You
politics.
know, and
I
there's
know I
no
had
need for
posted
it.
something right at the first post I made. It was something, and somebody said something. I said I didn't mean it politically at all. In fact, I think I texted you and said, Jeffrey, I don't know you. You don't know me, but I didn't bring up that aspect of it. And you said, I know, but you know, it can run away from you. Let me ask you this, Jeffrey. What what are the topics that generate the most activity, chatter back and forth, and continue the thread longer? What types?
Well, the Whistler.
Although, I remember that guy. Yep.
You know, and I do too. And so many people do remember him, which is why I can't understand why there's always people that are like, you know, oh, not another Whistler post. I mean, I think it's funny nowadays whenever somebody posts it, because, you know, it's been posted. I counted a few days ago, I counted like 48 times, you know, that it's been posted about him. And, you know, there's so many people that do remember the guy because he went everywhere.
I'd see him in Leicester on Route 9, and then the next day I'd see him in Westboro on
Yeah.
Route 9.
Yeah, my dad had a business. He had a couple of businesses in the Main South area, right on King Street, and I basically grew up working for my dad, you know, since about the fourth grade, and I remember watching him walk by every single day. You know, and that's technically Route 9. You know, and he'd walk by every single day, and then, you know, growing up on Pilgrim Avenue, I'd see him down that end too, and it's like, you know, you just knew who he was.
Yeah. Hey,
And
and you know what? I didn't realize it, but I have a yellow shirt on.
yeah,
And he always used to wear that yellow
yep,
raincoat?
the
Yep.
yellow raincoat, yeah.
And we
And, you know,
remember what we were going to talk about.
so you know, he is a popular subject, as much as, you know, as much as if people, you know, I'm gonna keep, in fact, the last time he was brought up, some people added some new pictures, and that was of the front of the back of his shirt, which I
Yeah.
haven't seen in a while.
Yeah.
And, you know, there's a military picture of him as well.
Yeah.
Um, and his gravestone, his actual gravestone, you know, which there was a debate about that. He actually wasn't in the Marine Corps, he was in the Army.
Oh,
Um,
okay. Yeah.
so now that I have those pictures, I figure, you know, don't hate me, people, but on his birthday, I'm gonna put a post every year on his birthday, you know, about him. You know, so
Walter Barch.
yeah, Walter Barch, you know,
Walter
and,
Barch.
you know, so he's a popular subject. Um, I think a lot of people really do like the historical pictures, which uh now I didn't when I started the group, I didn't expect the the late 1800, 1900 photos that I've been getting. And, you know, that in turn, you know, when you see, you know, Lake Quinsigamon Bridge in 1900, it's just a dirt pile, you know,
Uh,
but it's still a bridge between Lake Quinsigamon, you know. No, I don't think many people knew that it was divided right there. And, you know, when you see pictures like that, it really makes you interested in the history of Worcester. So since then, I have about 4 or 5 people that have these amazing pictures, you know, that randomly post them. And I've noticed that the historical part has really taken off. People really enjoy a lot of the history of Worcester. In
yeah.
fact, to the point where I get a lot of people complaining because they want less nostalgia posts, and, you know, more basically all Worcester history. Not, you know, they want me to omit the nostalgia part, which
Well,
maybe
title
I'll take another vote on it. I don't know.
the
But
title is
right now we did vote on it and decided that nostalgia was going to be a part of it. So that's, you know, kind of been where we're at on that.
so what's been the biggest positive surprise?
Um, that people actually, you know, everybody gets along on the site. You know, there are people that are very welcoming. There are people that, you know, I don't get to see every post that goes up or every comment. Um, but, you know, when there's a long thread of a lot of comments, you know, I'll breeze down them. It's nice to see that people, um, you know, people can chat back and forth and not get into fights. Uh, it's nice to see that, you know, there are people that reunite with other people that they haven't met in a long time, or I think there was a post about a class ring that was found, and actually they found the owner to it. I mean, things like that,
Yeah.
where it could be a useful site for things like that. I find that really enjoyable.
Yeah, exactly. So, and how about, let's go to the other side of the spectrum here. What has been the biggest disappointment in what you've seen so far?
Um, there's really nothing that I can bring to mind that I've found disappointing about the site. I'm disappointed when people get mad and they quit because, you know, of a post that got away before I could even get to it. I'm waking up and I see, people like, "Oh, I've had enough and I'm out." It's like, well,
Yeah.
what have you had enough of? Because, if you just ignored that one post, you'd still be a member. So, I'm always disappointed when we lose members just because, most of the time it's not for anything significant.
But they do have the capabilities to ignore.
Oh, they can just scroll right past it.
Yeah, go
I
right
mean,
past
there are
it.
posts too that I see sometimes that it's like, whatever, and I'll just scroll past it. There are some too that that bother me. That just I shouldn't say bother me. Not necessarily bother me. It's just there are posts on there that you know whenever I find a post that somebody puts up there, and I know they mean well, but it's kind of threatening to the theme of old school Worcester, like general things that you see on a person's timeline, on their own personal timeline, where they feel the need to have to say good morning and good night and have a cup of coffee, and things like that that
Yeah,
I
right.
feel that I feel it's not something that I would want to see on my timeline,
Yeah.
or I feel as though a lot of people will skip over it. So anything that makes someone lose interest in our timeline on old school Worcester, I'll delete it because, if I feel it doesn't belong there, then most people will probably scroll past it too. I don't
Yeah.
want people to get bored with the site.
Now, how about, have you gotten to the point yet where you're going to have to add other moderators so that you can have a life?
No, I mean, no, because I kind of go through the same routine, and even when I'm working, um, I work 2 a.m. to 10 a.m. out here. So when you factor that in, you know,
And so you're
I,
working the
I'm up.
opposite schedule, yeah.
Yeah, I'm up basically at 1 a.m. in the morning, and I have a little bit of time to go through some things. Usually, there's not a lot of activity at that time. It's usually in the morning when I wake up. But you know, I've been out of work for 2 months. Since this CCP thing has gone on. But once I start going back to work and I get a normal schedule, it's not really that much work at all. I mean, I don't get notifications like my phone doesn't ring when I get something that should be removed. So I do actually have to, constantly look at it. But, again, if people report stuff that they feel that shouldn't be there, I can review it and decide, whether to take it off. I don't feel as though, you know, if there's a problem, I got 15,000 members. If there's a problem, people are going to let me know. And we've never gotten to that point where
You got
I
a
don't
bunch of
feel as though I
deputy
can
sheriffs out there.
cannot handle it.
You got a bunch of deputy sheriffs out there as the
Yeah.
police.
I have people that, are right on it when, as far as reporting goes. And then I'll see posts that it's like, how did this get this far? And nobody said anything.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah, well, sometimes if you comment under somebody else's comment, it comes out differently as a post. But you never know. So I guess, you know what? I got a couple some lined up for next week. Is going to be the something anniversary of June 9th was the tornado, which kind of changed Worcester forever. And
I think I might have a newspaper from that. I'll have to look. I have a few old ones that my mom had saved and given to me. I might have it, or she might still have it. But yeah, there's actually there was a
1963.
post on that a long time ago, and I can probably dig through it and find it again. But someone posted like 25 color pictures of the devastation of that, and they were really good.
And a color photo back then was something
Yeah.
interesting. I know that they found. See, if you went to Quincy, you went on West Boylston Street, right? Right when you went to Quincy.
Yep.
Yeah. So that was the site of the tornado because that was Assumption College, and they found library books from Assumption at the Cape that still had, they still had the little card in that the librarian was supposed to stamp when you took it out, so you knew, you know, it was taken there by the wind and not by anywhere else. So
That's an interesting story.
yeah, as we wrap up, what would you want to tell people about where you want to see it go to, where you want to see it grow to, and how can people that are watching this video, first of all, well, we know how they can join the group because this is where it's going to be posted. But what can they do to help you?
As far as, you know, I like the way it's going. I love the fact that you know, that there are people that have you know, a lot of photos of stuff that I've never seen before, and I'm sure a lot of people haven't either. So it's, you know, seeing pictures like that, you know, more history would be great. You know, even informing people. I know a lot of people, same as me, that, you know, get a lot of information about Worcester, things that I never knew about, like that Blackstone Canal. You know, I didn't know anything about it till I saw a picture of it, and then I went and started digging up the history on that, and I thought that was very interesting. But you know, as far as, you know, as long as people, you know, the site will always stay the same as long as people just ignore the garbage and let me, you know, give me a chance to get to it, and I'll take care of it. You know, the only way they can help is just by, you know, if they see something that they know doesn't belong, and, you know, if you've been a member for the last year, you can pretty much tell. You know, just report it, and
Right.
you know, and report it, and don't let it bother you.
Not by any means.
There's always gonna be a member that I let in, have no idea, you know, they check out when I let them in, and then all of a sudden, you know, like recently we got that guy that just spewed off like 15 political posts right away. It's like, you know, who does that?
Yeah. Get out of here.
You know, that's your life?
Yeah. So we want to thank you so much for spending time with us, and I'm sure that you'll get a lot of comments on this when we put it on the site, and I'm sure that we'll get others to tell others to tell others. So maybe this time next year we'll be at 30 or 40,000 instead of 15.
That'd be unbelievable for me, really. But you know, I appreciate the you know, the gesture in doing this interview, and you know, I hope everybody stays safe and enjoy the summer and the rest of this year, and we'll see what we can dig up on Worcester.
Okay, so we've been talking with Jeffrey Generelli, who is the owner, founder, proprietor, and chief cook and bottle washer at Old School Worcester, a very popular Facebook site. Have a great day, everybody.